We live in a world that is completely centered around sight. Seeing is believing. It's a proverb I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have heard before. Basically, it means you have to see something in order to accept it as reality. For a long time, I agreed with the idiom, but at the end of freshman year, when I was diagnosed with a progressive eye disease that was making it harder and harder to see, how could seeing be believing when I could literally no longer see? So as my vision declined, I began to question what I was seeing more and more. I could no longer trust my own eyes, which I had relied so heavily on for all my life. Recently, I lost much of my peripheral vision, and even though I'm aware when I hold my hand here, without the visual confirmation that it's there, it's easy to begin doubting what's real. Sophomore year was a really difficult time for me. I had 2 surgeries to stop the progression of my eye disease, and frankly, it was incredibly scary. After my second surgery, my eyesight was the worst it has ever been. It was really painful, physically as well as emotionally, but I couldn't talk about it. I'd break down every time I tried. And because I couldn't deal with what I was going through, I tried to make it seem like I wasn't going through anything at all. So I focused on what I liked and what I was generally good at, and for me that was always school. So when I showed up every morning, I would remind myself to smile as I walked down the hallway, unaware of the faces that I probably knew that were passing me by, and I would make it a point to do all my work on time and well, even if it meant having someone else read me my textbooks or dictating my essays. And for the most part, everyone treated me totally normally, like nothing was happening. And even though that's what I had wanted, it didn't help my struggles. In fact, in many ways it exacerbated them. I was feeling incredibly isolated. No one was seeing how hard everyday things were for me, and no one was understanding. But I wasn't letting them see it. But that's when it dawned on me. People were only seeing the aspect of my life that I wanted them to see. No one was seeing me in pain or struggling to read, or the devastation I felt when all my friends started driving and I was left unable to pass the vision test. But just because people weren't seeing it didn't make it any less real. What I realized was that no matter how well everyone else's vision was, they still weren't seeing the whole picture. So this I believe. There is so much more to people than what we see and what they choose to show us. I can't know the complexities of somebody else's life just by looking at them. And even if I can't see their tears or their pain or their joy, that doesn't mean it's not there. So I encourage us all to rely less on our eyes and interpreting exactly what we are seeing as reality, and realize that as much as we love and should love our eyes, they don't show us everything. We need to have compassion and patience and look out for people, even if they don't seem like they need it. The flip side of that is sometimes we need to be vulnerable and show other people the side of us we don't necessarily want them to see. And with that, we'd all have a much better understanding of one another.